Yes, guys. Welcome back to the player ratings. How you all doing, man? Hopefully you're all well. Let's see who we've got in the chat then today, man. We've got AW, Fan IDK, Benno, Zinka, Zerlem, Cody, Shamin, Brian, Lengan, Sweet, Akshat, yes. We've also got Brian, James, Lakshit, Russ Beard, Simon Clark, Mohammed Fares, Samud, Kipat's Kid, yes. We've got Sean, James Perry, Marshy Boy, Sean Witherspoon, James Sweet. How you guys doing, man? Hopefully you're all well. For those people that didn't catch this morning's streaming, you just give a little bit of like a debrief on it, a bit of a conversation on it, because we didn't manage to get the review out last night, so we thought we'd do it this morning. But now it is time for player ratings. Now, just a quick one. Big up to Simon. I seen him putting a message in the chat. The Discord bot went down, so we weren't actually able to do Xtra Club ratings for this one. So, guys, just put your ratings. I know it's a shambles, bro. It's a shambles. But
the people need a voice, man. The people need a place they can speak their thoughts, you know?
And luckily, we have this with the chat function in the YouTube. So make sure you guys are letting us know when we're going through each player in the chat section, the live chat. Let us know. And obviously, if you're watching this on replay, then feel free to whack your player ratings in the comment section below the video. As always, 6 is average. Anything less than a 6, and it means you think they negatively impacted the game. Anything above a 6, and it means that they positively impacted the game. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start off with Ederson, who played 90 minutes in the game yesterday, made 3 saves, 1 punch, 2 run-outs with 2 successes, and 1 save from inside the penalty area. He misplaced only 3 passes out of 19. That's an 84% pass accuracy, and all 3 were long balls. 6 long balls, 3 successful, made 1 clearance. Made a couple of good saves, didn't he, yesterday, Ederson? The one-off, was it Chouameni? I think was a great save. The save off of Benzema's header, another great save. The goal, don't really think there's much complaining there, to be honest with you. He hit it with a lot of power, and I think most people expected Vinicius Junior to hit the ball into sort of the right-hand side of the net, not the left. So I think he took Ederson by some surprise there. But I think he was pretty solid yesterday. You know what I mean? I think he was chill.
I think he was class. I think Ederson was genuinely class yesterday. He made some really, really big saves, and people are always getting out about Ederson in these ties, saying, "Oh, he doesn't turn up in the Champions League games. He doesn't turn up in the high pressure situations." He was brilliant yesterday. The defense looked really calm yesterday overall, and I think Ederson contributed massively to that. I mean, for the goal, it's just a world-class finish. It's a world-class finish from a world-class player, so it's one of those that it's kind of hard to get to. But you're right. Listen, some big saves. I'm very happy with Ederson's performance yesterday, especially in a high-pressure situation, which people say he's not that good at. He was one of our best players on the pitch, Ederson. I think he contributed massively to the overall way we were able to play and the approach we took to the game. So, yeah, man, big congrats. Big pats on the back for Ederson.
Yeah, no, definitely. You guys are ranging anywhere from 8 to 9s, man. I'm seeing 8s to 9s anywhere in there. I'm going to give him an 8.2, which I think is probably one of the highest ratings I've ever given Ederson. So yeah, I'm going to give him an 8.2.
I'm going to give him an 8.5 because I think he contributed massively to the whole vibe of the team, the whole energy we were able to play with last night, keeping the calmness and the composure, and he did his part. So I'll give him an 8.5.
I don't know if this is fact check, but Oronde says he's got the highest save percentage in the Champions League this season. Well, if that's true, then fairs. So yeah, there you go. Ederson, good performance from him yesterday. Let's move it on then to into our defence. Let's go to Kyle Walker, who played full 90 minutes in the game yesterday. Made 4 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 interception. Got dribbled past just once. 8 ground duels, 6-1. 3 aerial duels, 2-1. He had a 54 passes, 45 completed. That's an 83% pass completion. 1 cross unsuccessful, 8 long balls, 5 successful. I thought he had a good game defensively. Don't really remember Vinicius doing him that much, to be honest. I think he did quite well there. I thought on the ball he was okay. You're never gonna get a mint out of Kyle Walker on the ball. I think he was okay on the ball, good defensively. Could he have done better on the goal? Possibly. Should step out a little bit earlier, but he is probably a little bit worried about Vinicius. But you have to go to the ball in that situation. It is fine margins though, and I'm not criticising him too much for the goal, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think he played well. good play. And Vinicius was kept pretty quiet. Vinicius only really started getting success when he went infield, and that was away from Kyle Walker.
No, he had to switch up his game, Vinicius, because he realised that he wasn't going to have the easy run on the outside for Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's main job last night was to lock down Vinicius as best he could. And I think for the most part, he did a really, really good job. What was the stat you said there? He only got beaten once?
Yeah, got beat once. Yeah, got dribbled past once.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane when you consider the caliber of winger he was up against. He was up against the best winger in world football at the minute in Vinicius Jr. And he only got dribbled past once in the Bernabeu. Absolutely fantastic from Kyle Walker at his age as well. He showed his experience. He showed his quality. I think he needs to get a high rating, Kyle Walker. For the goal, yeah, you could argue, but it's one of those ones that's tricky. He could step out a little bit earlier, but he has to go for the ball, like you said. So I'm not going to give him too many criticisms for that, because it is also a wonder strike. I mean, what are the chances that he puts the ball that sweetly into the back of the net? So,
Exactly. Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. I'm going to give him another good rating. I'm going to give him a 7.8.
I'm going to give him an 8.1. I think anybody who can keep Vinicius down to only dribble successfully once is in the 8s at least for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, well played, Kyle Walker. And as I've said, we all backed him going into the game against Vinny, and he proved it. He proved it that he can do the job. He's got to be one of the best, if not the best, defensive fullback in world football. He's absolutely incredible. But yeah, big up. Chat quite a little bit of a range on this one. I'm seeing some people in the high 8s, man. I'm seeing some people in the high 8s, so maybe we're a little bit low. I don't know, but
I think it's justified. I think if you want to give him a high 8, you have a very good argument. You really do.
I agree. Okay, let's move on to Ruben Dias. Then played 90 minutes in the game yesterday. Had 2 clearances, 1 block shot, and 2 interceptions. Five ground duels, won 4. 2 aerial duels, won 1. Had a 95% pass accuracy, misplacing only 4 passes off 80 passes in total. Had 6 long balls, 4 successful. So only 2 short passes were unsuccessful from Ruben Dias last night. Thought he was very, very good, very strong. Could he close down Vinny Jr.? Again, a bit like Kyle Walker, maybe, but it all happened in a split second. Sometimes you just have to take your hat off to the goal scorer, innit, and just say, fair dues, that's just actually a sick goal. Thought he defended very well. Benzema had a relatively quiet night. You know what I mean? I think there was only real one shot. The header was the only one, really, where Benzema peeled off Dias and sort of won that duel. Other than that, Dias did quite well. Good on the ball, as the stats prove. Pretty solid. I'd say it's a pretty solid performance.
I thought he was absolutely amazing. I really thought Ruben Dias was absolutely brilliant last night. I thought he was a proper general centre half last night. I think he pocketed Benzema, as far as I'm concerned. Benzema looked really frustrated. I see Real Madrid fans on the timeline this morning saying, Benzema didn't look interested. He wasn't working hard enough. He wasn't trying to get involved in the game. They're on Benzema's back, and this is their king over the last few years. They're properly on his back. Ruben Dias, through composure, positioning, and subtle things that you won't really see unless you pay serious attention to it, is what we're able to essentially nullify Benzema as much as possible. And that one incident I want to talk about, I want to highlight, is the save, essentially, from a guaranteed goal for Benzema. Ruben Dias has come back at pace towards his own goal. You need serious levels of composure to prevent that, A, from going into the back of your net off your own foot. Most defenders could very easily stick that in the back of their own net, and B, prevent it from getting its way to Benzema, and he absolutely nailed it. He looked so calm, so composed. Defense wins you titles, man. Defense wins you competitions, and people like him, in form like that, with mentality like his, is what will carry you to trophies and success, because he's just absolutely ice cold when you need him the most. Same in Munich. Do you remember the splits he did, the big block he did for the splits in the Allianz? Like, this guy, he's just levels and levels above so many centre halves in the world right now. Absolutely class last night, I thought.
Well, I think that block is as good as a goal, because it was going to be a certain goal. If he doesn't get there, Benzema's got a tap in, because Ederson's not got there. So you have to give him massive credit there. And like I say, there was only that one chance, really, that Benzema peeled off Dias at the back post, and that was pretty much it. The goal that they scored, I think it's harsh, really, to say he could have done much on that. I think he was fantastic yesterday, but that block was just incredible. So for me, he's in the 8s. I'm going to give him an 8.7. 6.
I'm going to give him an 8.8. I thought he was a rock. He was a rock. And when you're a rock, you'll ooze confidence and composure into the rest of your team as well. He not only controls his own game, he's a massive influence on everybody else's game. The defense thrives off Ruben Dias being the way he was last night.
Yeah, no, I agree. He was very, very good. You guys in the chat sort of ranging from 8 to some people in the 9s as well, which again I think is acceptable. Defended really, really well yesterday. So yeah, I rate that. Anthony with the super chat says 109. Not sure. Do you know what that means, bro? 109.
I'd be lying if I said I knew what it means, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Anthony, what that super chat means, bro. Maybe put something in the chat so I understand it in it. But yeah, thanks for the super chat. But I'm not sure what it actually means. Benno says TS saying, who's that? TS saying Vinny gave him nightmares. Not what I saw. TS. Who's that?
Is there a fullback with TS?
TS. Chat, help us out, man. Who's TS? Talksport. TS saying Vinny gave him nightmares.
Yes, Talksport. Nah, listen, if you're taking them seriously, you're getting your media from the wrong places.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Right, let's move on to John Stones, who played the full 90 minutes yesterday. 59 passes, 54 successful. That's a 92% passing accuracy. 2 ground duels, didn't win any of them, and 1 aerial duel. He won that one though. 1 clearance, 2 block shots, got dribbled past twice. It was a weird one for John Stones yesterday because he couldn't get into the midfield as much as probably he would like and as much as Manchester City and Pep Guardiola like. And I think that played a large part into Manchester City being under a lot of pressure because that meant that they were dominating the midfield because they were getting Rodrigo and Vinny tucking in a little bit and we were being outnumbered in the midfield. And that's one of the reasons I think we struggled yesterday because we couldn't get John Stones into the midfield as much as we wanted to. However, defended well when he needed to. And in the middle of the park, when he was in the middle of the park, passing was nice. I mean, the stats prove that. Lost the ball very, very few times. And just kept it ticking over. I wouldn't say it was one of his better games in there, but it wasn't because he was bad. It was just because he didn't manage to get into that centre mid position as much as we would have liked. However, when he was there, it was fine. Defensively, fine. Yeah, and it had nothing to do with the goal because he's in the middle of Dias and Stones, Dias and Walker, so he was had nothing to do with it. So for me, just sort of a par for the course performance.
Yeah, he had to be a bit more like the old John Stones. He had to be more just primarily defensive John Stones last night, and it was kind of just a formality, really standard procedure for John Stones in terms of the defensive side of things. I mean, the 2 block shots, obviously very important to get those blocks, and you don't want Real Madrid being able to shoot from range because they are very dangerous when they do that. But yeah, you're right. The fact that we didn't have the as I said this morning, the same approach that we would do for a normal game whereby we want to always dominate possession, it's going to take away from John Stones looking as elegant as he has done in the last 2 months. But what he did have to do on the defensive side of things, perfectly fine, man. Perfectly fine, John Stones. I think in the Etihad game, in the reverse fixture, you'll see John Stones playing and looking more like he has done over the last, 8, 9, 10 weeks, where he's involved in the midfield build-up and he's getting forward a lot more because I think we will be more direct in our play and try to control a lot more. But as far as last night goes, he had the specific job, be defensively solid, and that's what he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give him a 7.3.
I give him a 7.5.
First, you guys in the chat are ranging anywhere from 6s to sort of 7.5. So 7.7, I think, is the max that I've seen. So that's a sort of area that we're at with Johnny Stones. Guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream if you've not done so already. Man, we've got nearly 500 people in already. Let's get those likes past 200 and hit the thumbs up button for us if you've not done so. We've got a super chat here from Mohammed. Says Ancelotti crying about VAR. Carvajal should get red. Well, the VAR thing is just absolute nonsense. It's not even a legit thing. You know what I mean? It's not even like it was made from being sports. Like they've done it themselves. It's not an actual official image. And the fact is, Camavinga had the ball. He had the ball after the throwing anyway. So after the alleged ball going out of play anyway. So they had the chance to sort it out, and then they just give those the ball back. So it's just an absolute load of nonsense, man. And yeah, Carvajal. I don't know what's going on there, man. To be honest with you, that was a bit of a madness. Yo, Paratosh, man, coming in with a 5 bomb. Holy! W's in the chat, man. Paratosh. Waritosh Wandy, innit? Coming in with that 5 bomb, man. Big up, bro. Thank you very much for the 5. Appreciate that, bro. Dubs in the chat, guys. Dubs in the chat. Well, as Waritosh Wandy gets his W's in the chat, let's move it on to Manuel Akanji, who played 90 minutes in the game yesterday. What did I say? Manuel Akanji. I just said Manuel Akanji. I felt like I said Manuel Wakanji then for a second. Played 90 minutes in the game, made 2 clearances, got dribbled past twice, 6 ground duels, won 3, 2 aerial duels, won 1 of them, 95% passing accuracy, misplaced only 5 passes in the game, 2 long balls, 1 successful. I thought he had a pretty good game, you know. That was the one that I was worried about the most. Out of him and Walker, I was worried about him because he's not naturally a left-sided player. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there was only one real time that I remember him getting absolutely put in the blender from Rodrigo. And that was when it was like he got skinned on the byline and then the guy went in towards the penalty area. And I was like, don't touch him, because I thought he was going to give a penalty away. Other than that, pretty standard. Oh, my camera's come on.
Yeah. I thought Akanji was really good, man. I thought he was really good. I mean, Rodrigo didn't have anywhere near the same impact on the game that he probably would have liked. And I think a huge amount of that goes down to Manuel Akanji. I think the whole defense, man, I have to give the whole defense credit. I mean, that Real Madrid attack is absolutely class. And on their day, if you allow them to really get a foothold of it and control and get properly threatening, if you show any form of crumbling under the pressure from that Real Madrid, you're back, yeah?
Oh, no, fuck off on there. Just camera just decided to just dip.
If you show any form of crumbling under the pressure in the Bernabeu against that Real Madrid attack, they'll capitalize and they'll absolutely rinse you. So I thought the whole defense was brilliant last night. Akanji did his part on his side, Walker did his part on his side, and that's why we take a very good result to the Etihad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought he did relatively well. I don't think he was ever going to be as solid as Walker, because Walker's more solid, especially because Akanji's playing in an unnatural position. I think you got to give him his credit, man. It was unlikely that Akanji was going to pocket Rodrigo last night, was it? Come on, that's fair to say. It was unlikely that he was going to do that because he's not a left back, you know, and Rodrigo's a class player. So I think you've just got to give him credit, man. I think you've got to give him credit. So for me, I'm going to give him a 7 point. What did I give Stones? A 7.3. The thing is, while Stones didn't do anything wrong, I'm more impressed by Akanji's performance because I thought he did exceptionally well. And he was up against, for me, it was in a worse position than Stones because he was up against Rodrigo, whereas John Stones had Diaz next to him. So I'm actually going to give him a slightly better rating than John Stones, which may be a bit backwards, but I'm going to give him a 7.5.
I think he deserves a better rating than John Stones based on the context of the situation. You expect John Stones to do well. You expect John Stones to be solid and comfortable. But for Akanji, a player who came in last year with not a huge amount of experience at the highest level for a low fee, to work his way into our team, and then to now be in the Bernabeu playing completely out of position on the left side of the fence, out wide marking one of the most threatening wingers in world football, to do a really good job with him. He deserves his flowers, man. This guy's a top signing. He's one of the best signings across European football last summer. Akanji. I think I gave Stones a 7.5. I'll give Akanji a 7.7.
Oh, fairs in my view. Big up to Oliver, man, for the £10 donation. Says, with the media going mental with the ball going out situation and putting pressure on the refs, I fully expect the officiating in the second leg to be abysmal. Well, listen, someone's found the clips. You know when Vinicius scored last season when he'd done Fernandinho and just walked into the ball? Someone's found that goal, and we should have had the throw-in. So it was the same thing last year. I don't remember fucking moaning about that last year. You know what I mean? I moaned about the penalty being given, but I never moaned about that. It's just pathetic. It really is pathetic. And the fact is, it's not even an issue. They had the ball, man. They had the ball. Camavinga had the ball after the throw-in. After the alleged throw-in. They had the chances to clear and Camavinga just passed it straight to Rodri. So their own fault, man. People
are getting worried. They're getting worried that City might just make a bit of history this season and they might just do something special. So they're nitpicking. This is Real Madrid you're talking about. This is an elite football club with an elite football team right now, European champions. They won't be walking off that pitch saying we drew that game because of a a throw-in that should have gone our way, or et cetera, et cetera. They didn't play well enough. They couldn't break us down in 90 minutes of football to get enough goals. It's simple as that. It's excuses if you're saying that City only got a draw because of so-and-so refereeing decisions. No, Real Madrid are good enough and have high enough standards to believe that they should be able to beat us without things like that going against them. And it happened to us last season, like you said. I don't remember crying about that too much. I don't remember even highlighting it back then. It was just kind of, Fernandinho couldn't do his thing on the right-hand side. So, you know what? Listen, let them keep worrying, man. Let them worry. I'm seeing that. I'm going to name drop. That's Saeed TV, man. He's tweeted more about Real Madrid, Man City last night than he has done about Man United all season. He's getting stressed. This lot are getting proper stressed that little City might just pull off a madness this season.
Well, he needs to worry about his own club, man. He's got goalkeepers fucking... have you heard about David De Gea, man? Driving stolen vehicles?
No.
I don't know if this... Yeah, it's on... it's a parody account, man. That would have been funny, man. That would have been funny. Yeah. So there's a parody account called Centre Devils. David De Gea was held by the Greater Manchester Police this morning for allegedly driving a stolen vehicle. Well, it's parody, man. It's just a parody account. Right, okay, let's move into the midfield then, man. Let's go into Rodri's position. Played 90 minutes in the game. 81 passes, misplaced only 4 passes out of 81. That's a 95% pass accuracy. 3 long balls, 2 successful, 1 shot on target, 1 shot block, 7 ground duels, 4 of them won. Lost possession 4 times, got 2 clearances, 1 block shot and 1 interception. They're the stats for Rodri. Slightly dumb moment when he passed the ball to Vinicius, I think it was, which almost led to a goal, but we got away with it, thankfully. Other than that, on the ball was exceptional. Hardly put a foot wrong. His passing stats are incredible. Only misplaced 4 passes in the whole game. That's unbelievable. Had a great shot, which was going in. Good save from Courtois. Well intercepted for the City goal. He's obviously challenges the Camavinga pass and manages to get himself in there. So I think his performance actually has gone quite underrated, and I think I can see that by a couple of the player ratings that I think people are going to send in the chat now. I think are going to prove it. I think he had a really underrated game, man.
He did, and people just expect this from Rodri. This is what Rodri does. This is his thing. He just looks so comfortable, so composed, and people haven't highlighted the task he had in his hands last night when he was up against Valverde, Modric, Kroos, and these elite footballers. And Rodri didn't look overrun. He didn't look overrun at all. He backed himself. He was composed. He did his thing. He looked like the way Rodri always does. He looked like the same way he would if he was playing at home to Southampton on a Saturday morning. That's the way Rodri is. I was really happy with him as well because he had a tough job in his hands, and that's what he does. I'm gonna give him an 8.8 because you know what? If Rodri's not as solid as he was last night, we are completely overrun the midfield, and Real Madrid get all the attacking threat. They come completely gung ho at us. But he was a massive rock in the middle of that, so I'll give that to him. 8.8. Yeah,
I think that's fair. I'm gonna give him an 8.5. Just because of that big mistake they did make that almost cost us a goal. However, other than that, he was superb. He really was. Top performance from Rodri. And he needs to go again on Sunday, man, because we're going to need him against Everton. Don't be that guy with the 10 says this game showed that we need a real left back and speed on the wings. Grealish was isolated and struggled against Carvajal. I'm pleading for Carlos Borges to be given a chance with LB to support the attack as well. There we go. Big up for the super chat. Mohammed says no one cares about City, but rivals salty online may. Honestly, some of the watch-alongs. I was on YouTube this morning. It come up, them YouTube channels where they do like all the watch-along reactions. Mate, yeah, the compilation. I was like, yo, people always chat, don't care about City. No one cares about City. Yeah, all right then. Okay, is that really what you're thinking? Is that honestly what you believe? Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't see that last night. I didn't see that last night on some of them watch-alongs, man. Yeah, I mean, so some non-Manchester City fans celebrating Real Madrid's goal like they're diehard Real Madrid fans, mate. Honestly, they know what's coming, man.
I've seen it, man. I've seen it, and I was keeping my receipts quietly, keeping my receipts for when people want to tell me they don't care about City. I'll be able to remind them of the time. I've already put Saeed on blast, and there's plenty more I could do as well. But we'll be here all day. No one cares about us. That's all right. Man. We'll keep doing our thing.
Big up to Rodri, man. Big scores, big scores. Let's go on to Ilkay Gundogan. 90 minutes played in the game yesterday. Got 1 assist. 59 passes, 44 successful. That's at 92% pass accuracy. 1 key pass in the game. 12 long balls. 11 successful. 1 shot off target. 1 shot blocked. 1 dribble attempt successful. He won 3 out of 6 ground duels and won his only aerial duel as well. That's it for the stats. His stats pretty good. I actually thought that he didn't have the best game personally. I thought he did really well for the goal. Held off the defender really well, laid the ball off really nice for Kevin De Bruyne. I just don't think he had a particularly good game. And Daniel in the chat there says Gundo looks knackered. Maybe we have burnt him out. Well, you tell me what you think about that. Actually, Hugh, I'm going to check out his how many minutes he's played this year because I want to see it.
I think for me, Daniel summed it up by saying he looks knackered. He does. He looks really tired, and only the fact that he has such a good footballing brain and he's so intelligent, he's able to get through these games without having a stinker, without really causing the team problems. I don't think he was awful last night. That's because he's such a good footballer, but he definitely doesn't look anywhere near as energized as he should do. Anywhere near as he isn't having the impact that he would quite clearly like. I think possibly his age is catching up on him because I think when you get the stats up here now, the minutes, he's played quite a lot of football, especially in the last 2 months, which have been taxing. The last 2 months have been grueling amounts of football, high pressure every single game, and he's been at the heart of that. So, look, with Gundo, love him dearly, and he's such a terrific footballer, but, we're going to have to assess how much he plays.
If you look at this, bro, he's our 4th most played player in all competitions. He's played 46 times, 3,429 minutes. I do think that maybe you are starting to see him just drop ever so slightly, and just because of his, he's playing so much football. He's played 3,429 minutes this season already, with another six or 7 games to go, whatever it is. Last season in all competitions, he played 3,000 minutes. So he's already played 400 minutes more than he did in the whole of last season. And there's still another 6 or 7 games to go. The season before that, 3,300 minutes. So again, he's already played more minutes this season than he did in 2 seasons ago. You have to go back to 2020, 3,500 minutes. Well, if he plays even 45 minutes against Everton, he's going to go over that as well. So you are starting to see, maybe, is he just starting to tire ever so slightly? Possibly. Like you say, I don't think he had a bad game. I just don't think he was just not at his best. And I think he's probably just a little bit knackered. Maybe he just needs a rest, man. I know he has had a rest here or there, but it's difficult though, because you give him an extended period out of the game, like so you drop him for Everton to bring him back in for Real Madrid. Is that really going to get him refreshed? But then again, this is where we're at with all the players. It won't just be Gundogan. A lot of players will look tired. So look, I thought he had a good game. I thought he had an all right game. I'm going to give him a 7.3.
Yeah, I think I'd like him to get a full rest this weekend. I think I'd like him to be taken out of the team completely against Everton, because I do want him to play on the Etihad on Wednesday. But as far as last night goes, I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7, man.
He did do really well, to be fair, for the assist, though, guys. You know what I mean? So maybe it's a little bit low. I don't know. Maybe that's a little lower. I'm not sure. Big up to Paratosh. Yes, Paratosh as well, with the 5 gifted before. Says, could have had Alvarez folding in yesterday. Happy with the draw. Midfield needs to calm down. Misplaced passes. They stretched us out by playing on the wings. Was extremely easy for them to find someone on the wing. We need to fix it. I'm sure Pep will have a fix for that. On Alvarez, I would fully expect Alvarez to come back in for the game against Everton. I would fully expect Alvarez to come back in for the game against Everton. I think that you need to rest Gundogan. I'd be looking at maybe Foden, Mahrez, potentially for Everton. Foden, Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Alvarez, Haaland, Rodri. I think that's maybe, we'll discuss it more in the build-up to the game, but I think you have to try and just refresh the team a little bit. Give Jack Grealish another rest. You know what I mean? Then he's only played 2 games in 4 if he plays Real Madrid at home. That's good for him. I think Mahrez needs to play against Everton. That'll give Bernardo Silva a rest. If you play Alvarez instead of Gundogan, it's giving Gundogan a rest. Then we just have to be really, really clever, because what we don't want to do, we don't want to burn ourselves out. You know what I mean? And there's a very real risk that could happen with the amount of games we're playing and the intensity that the games are being played at. So, I fully expect I fully expect Alvarez to play against Everton. But yeah, big up to Gundogan. Got the assist. Great assist, to be fair. You know what I mean? Held the defender really, really well. Laid the ball off nice for Kevin De Bruyne as well. Let's go on to Kevin De Bruyne then, actually. Played 90 minutes in the game, got the goal. 31 passes, 6 misplaced. That's an 81% pass accuracy. 1 key pass in the game. 13 crosses, 3 successful. 5 long balls, 3 successful. 3 shots on target, 1 dribble attempt, which was successful, and won 1 out of 5 ground duels. And that's it for the stats. I think we struggled to get him on the ball. I think we struggled to get all our attacking players on the ball. I think we struggled to get Gundogan on the ball in advanced positions, Kev on the ball, Grealish, Bernardo, even Haaland. I think we struggled to get all of our attacking players on the ball really in spaces to be able to create, other than that for sort of 20 minutes. So yeah, he didn't really get any sort of link up with Haaland. We just didn't manage to find that yesterday, which was a shame. However, at the end of the day, he pulled the trigger, didn't he? He got us back into the game. He got us the goal. And that's what he can do. He's a big game player. We spoke about it this morning on the debrief, and he is a big game player, Kevin De Bruyne. So that's what you have him on the pitch for. So in terms of his overall performance, yeah, not the best. None of our attacking players had a great attacking game. But that's what he can do. That's what he can do. He can just be sort of not really doing too much and then boom, stick one in the top corner, or this time the bottom corner. It was a great finish. And he was, yeah, Lizzie's right. He was very, very emotional once he scored. He looked like he was crying, man. So that obviously meant a lot to him. You know, it was a great finish. And I think that as well, what you got to understand is about these players. They're going through so much emotionally. They're doing an emotional roller coaster. They're playing high stakes, high pressure game. Every single game is intense. There's no room for error. They're not getting any rest time. They're resting for like 2 days. You know what I mean? 2 days, next game, 2 days, next game. This is the longest rest that we're going to have all season, this next 4 days before Everton. So I just think that, like, the players, you know, they probably are feeling a little bit run down, a little bit emotional. So when he put that in the back of the net, yeah, I'm not surprised you sort of seen that sort of emotional reaction, because clearly, the lads are clearly putting everything that they possibly have into these games, which is what they need to do, obviously, if they want the success that they want to aim for. But yeah, Kevin De Bruyne got us the goal. Big moment.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine the amount of pressure, physically, mentally, emotionally, and stress these guys are feeling, you know, day in, day out. Recovery, train, play, recovery, play, recovery, train, play. The schedule these guys are living off right now is probably like people like you and I and most of the chat, unless you're high level footballers yourselves, will never understand. We'll never begin to understand what these guys feel on a daily basis. And, you know, social media constantly nabbing at them, and they're seeing things in the papers about this and treble talk and bottle talk and these words thrown around. It's just a really tough world, I'd say, to live in at times. I know they're paid well, but they're still human beings. So you could see for Kevin De Bruyne, who's clearly someone desperate to lift that trophy, desperate to win that trophy for the club and for himself, how much it means to get that goal on the Bernabeu, which it gives us a massive chance now of going to Istanbul because we bring them back to our place. But in terms of his overall play, like, the goal is obviously the focus. Absolutely huge goal, brilliant strike. I could tell he really wanted to score. He had a few attempts before that Courtois made good saves for. He really, really wanted to score. I know supposedly he has personal beef with Courtois too, so maybe that added some emotion in there. I don't know. But look, with De Bruyne and the overall play, like I said this morning, I don't think the emphasis on the game plan last night was ever to really focus heavily on our build-up, focus heavily on our attack and threat. I think the main thing was always stay compact, stay defensively solid, and those defenders did exactly that. Whatever happens going forward is what will be. We can improve on that and change up the strategy for next week. But just stay defensively compact. So De Bruyne was never going to get the same level of control over the game that he would do in other games. I think he will next week, though. I do think we'll switch it up next week and we'll explore different avenues. But the goal, man, the goal is the all-important one. Should we win the Champions League this year, I think we'll look back on that goal in the Bernabeu and that photo of De Bruyne on his knees with his head in his hands in tears. It'll be iconic because this guy is an iconic player. And I said this morning, he does not get anywhere near enough praise, respect, and flowers for how good he is. A truly, truly phenomenal player. And listen, we did that video, me and you, Steve, and lads, about who's the king of Manchester. I said Aguero right now, but I feel De Bruyne he's on track. He's on track to take that throne from me. So listen, I love the guy, man. I
said Kev, bro.
I know you did, but as much for me as I want to win the Champions League, as much for the team and the club, I want him to win it. I really want Kevin De Bruyne to win this Champions League.
But it's moments like last night, which is why I picked Kevin De Bruyne in that video, is because he's doing things. He's winning us games. He's getting us out of sticky situations, and he's doing it at the most important times. And that's why I picked Kevin De Bruyne for my personal best City player ever. It's a great video, by the way. If you've not seen it, guys, you should go on the channel. We only did it like last week or something. Me, Hugh, MTFC lads, and Big Steve chose who we believe is the best Manchester City player of all time. So it's a good video. Go watch. Sorry, bro, what was you saying?
I was going to say, but he just his whole career, Kevin De Bruyne, he's been doing things that he just doesn't get enough attention for, like certain performances in certain games that if somebody else, like I don't know, let me think, a Rooney did it or a Paul Scholes did it, people would be talking about it for generations. Like I look at the Wolves game last year where he went and scored 4 goals. Without Kevin De Bruyne that day, we drop points and we don't go on to win the league. It's subtle things like that, not even subtle, that are absolutely huge for us in our pursuit of everything we've done success-wise over the last few years. But people just don't talk about it. People, like I said, if that was Wayne Rooney, people would say, remember that Wolves performance for Wayne Rooney where he dropped 4 goals? People be talking about that for generations. But for Kevin De Bruyne, it's just, oh, that's City, that's Kevin De Bruyne. So this guy, man, special player. He deserves the UCL, says Lack. I'm not even going to say it. Jangid in the chat. He does deserve it. No,
he definitely does. I'm going to give him a good rating. I'm going to give him an 8.6. I know the performance on the whole is probably not an 8.6, but ultimately this game was about moments. It was about Ruben Dias defending the moments that he needed to defend. It was about Kevin De Bruyne scoring the moment that he needed to score. So for me, probably not an 8.6 performance, but the moment alone is worth a high rating. So I'm going to 8.6.
I'm going to give him an 8.8. And I think what you said there, the moment alone deserves the high rating. That is what sums up winning the Champions League. The Champions League is won on moments. It's won on moments of excellence and moments of brilliance. And Kevin De Bruyne delivers these. And I think he's got more in the locker this season. So an 8.8.
Yeah, I'm big up Hayden with a 5-month member. Says every time Pep has had a 1-1 draw in the Champions League semi-final, he went on to win the Champions League. The last time an English team won the Champions League, they drew at the Bernabeu. It's time, says Hayden. Big up Hayden for the 5 months, man. Let's go on to the wings then. Let's go to Bernardo Silva. Played 90 minutes in the game yesterday. 5 dribble attempts, 4 successful. Had an 87% passing accuracy off of 54 passes. 1 key pass in the game, 1 cross not successful, 3 long balls, 2 successful. He won 6 out of 17 ground duels, and made 1 interception and got dribbled past 3 times. I got to say, right, I made the point yesterday before the watch along during the day stream that could there be an opportunity because it's Camavinga? Should we play potentially Mahrez or Foden? And I do think, actually, in my view, personally, I do actually think Mahrez would have been better suited to that game yesterday than Bernardo Silva. Having said that, I thought he did all right. Obviously, got skinned for the goal, but it was great movement from Camavinga and Modric. It was brilliant play from the pair, so you can't really criticise him too much. And then he's simply just not fast enough to get back on Camavinga, so you can't really criticise him that much. However, I just don't think that it worked as well as it did at Bayern Munich. And actually, I think that Mahrez probably would have been a better option, in my personal opinion, yesterday. Didn't give us too much going forward, but nor did most of the other attacking players. Did okay, though, I suppose. Didn't really do anything wrong. It was just a little bit quiet, but they all were, to be fair.
Yeah, I think for the Etihad game, I'd like to see Riyad Mahrez come back in. I think he'll offer more attacking threat, which is what we need in our own place. With the scoreline we brought to the second leg, we should be looking to impose ourselves offensively and really start to cause the Real Madrid defense problems. So Mahrez, for me, will probably offer that better than Bernardo did last night. I think you're right. It didn't work for him the same way it did in the Bayern Munich tie, but look, it is what it is. There was no disasters. None of the attacking players really flourished too much. But yeah, for Bernardo, it wasn't his best day at the office. Wasn't his worst either. I'd probably give him like a 6.4.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 6.5. Yeah, I don't think it was a particularly great game, but I did mention this during the day stream, man. I got shot down in it, but I did think that Mahrez probably could have been a better option there, and I do think he probably would have been. But yeah, you're right though. In the home game, I don't think Bernardo will play the home game. I think it'll be Mahrez. Facts Only says Haaland needs a rest. He looks knackered. He has played 10 games in the last 31 days. By the way, do you remember what I said before the game, LB? Facts Only, bro. I can't remember what you said in it. I can't remember what you said, bro. So tell me in it. What did you say, bro? I'm a big up for the super chat. And yeah, they all look tired though, lad. They all look tired. Haaland looks tired. Grealish looks tired. Everyone looks tired, mate. So it's one of them, innit? What can you do? Let's go over to Jack Grealish on the left-hand side. Played 90 minutes in the game yesterday. 2 dribble attempts, 2 successful. Passing accuracy was 91 passes, misplaced only 3 out of his 35. 6 key passes in the game. 5 ground duels successful out of 8. Got fouled 3 times, 2 block shots and 1 interception. Got dribble passed once. Had a tough old night against Carvajal, didn't he? You know what I mean? Carvajal, that guy. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely think that I've looked back on it this morning. I don't think for me that the Carvajal push into the thing is a red card, but it's definitely a yellow. He probably should have got a yellow as well for the other tackle he did on him, which was very similar to Toni Kroos, which he got booked for. Carvajal, very experienced player, though. He's a very good defender. He knows exactly what he's doing. But for me, there were moments that he was one-on-one with Carvajal and he didn't go for it and he didn't take him on and he just sort of waited a little bit too long. And they're the moments that frustrate me with Jack Grealish. When he's one-on-one and for me, I'm looking at it going, if you can beat your man now, you're in on goal. And he either doesn't do it or he takes too long. That's the only thing that frustrates me about him sometimes. However, having said that, yeah, I mean, he did all right. A bit like Bernardo, didn't really do much. Yeah, tough old night against Carvajal. Very good defender, isn't he?
Yeah, Carvajal he's a top defender, and it's no surprise that he's as successful and has as many medals as he does. He's a top player, but I think for parts of that game, man, Grealish got under his skin. Grealish was getting under Carvajal's skin. I could tell that Carvajal really wanted to bite back at Grealish, and he's probably lucky that he didn't get sent off. But as I said, these experienced players, man, they know the line that you can't cross, and they thread very close to it. And you know they sometimes get away with it, or more often than not, they will because they're so good. But I think Grealish is tired, man. People know me. I'm a big Grealish defender. I like to big him up whenever I can, but I think he's tired. He's played so much football all season, been consistently really good. And, you know, those little things you're talking about, whereby if you can beat your player, you're through on goal. I think if he's fresher, he probably does try it and he goes for it. But because of fatigue, it's probably holding him back a little bit. But yeah, he didn't have a huge amount to work with, really, last night, did he? I mean, all of our 5 attacking players were off the pace of it, or they didn't look as threatening going forward as they do usually. And I explained why I think that, but you know, he was part of that, so you can't give him too high a rating. But you know what? It is what it is, man. I expect him to turn it up and go harder in the Etihad next week. I think I'd like him to have a rest against Everton on the weekend.
I think you can let him have a rest against Everton, bro, as well. I think you could go Foden, Mahrez for me is the obvious one. Foden, Mahrez, Haaland up top, Alvarez, Kevin De Bruyne. You're resting Gundo, you're resting Bernardo, you're resting King Grealish. You know what I mean? You're chilling. And then if you do go up 2-0, 3-0 up, which I don't see happening, to be honest with you, but if you do that, you can then take Haaland off, put Alvarez up top, and put maybe Calvin Phillips on for Kevin. You know what I mean? Like the team that we do need to rotate against Everton, and I do think Jack Grealish is another player that I would be looking at rotating again, just giving that extra game off and then ready to full send him. I think I'm just going to give him. I think he was better than Bernardo. I can't lie. I do think he was better than Bernardo. So I give Bernardo a 6.5. So I'll give Grealish a 6.8.
I'll give Grealish a 6.9. I think he was better than Bernardo as well.
Yeah. IDK says resting Bernardo for what, LB? I mean, good point. Good point, because he's not going to play against Real Madrid, in my opinion. So, yeah, maybe don't rest Bernardo Silva. Maybe put him in the middle, but then you don't play Alvarez or you don't play Kev. I need Kev playing. Right, okay, let's go on to the final man. Erling Haaland played the full 90 minutes yesterday, had an expected goals of 0.26, which proves that he didn't have a lot to work with yesterday. 2 shots on target, 1 shot blocked. 2 dribble attempts, 1 successful. 12 passes, 9 successful. He won 3 out of 4 ground duels and won 2 out of 3 aerial duels. And that's it. I had a difficult night, quiet night. We didn't create for him. 1 or 2 half chances. Nothing really that you'd expect him to put in the back of the net. Thought he actually did quite well against Rudiger. Won quite a few battles. But yeah, we just couldn't get that Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne link up, which was a bit of a shame. But yeah, didn't show me any signs that he had a bad game himself. It was just we didn't create nothing for him, and the XG proves that. He only had an XG of 0.26, so proves that we struggled to get him into the game.
Yeah, when you have a lethal striker, you need to service him, you need to feed him, you need to give him what he needs to thrive. Like, we know that his build to play has improved over the season just gone, and his touch has improved and things like that. But you still can't expect him to be dropping deep all the time and getting involved. He is an out and out striker at the end of the day, and if you don't give him the service, he ain't gonna flourish. And it was a simple case of that last night. You could argue his dad had a better performance in the stands than he did in the pitch. Alfie Haaland seems to be having a great time up in the in the boxes in the Bernabeu, but. Yeah, look, difficult one for Haaland, but I like I keep saying, I do think we'll turn it up. I think we'll turn it up a notch offensively next Wednesday, and he should get more service. This tie, I can't see this tie going by without Haaland having a say. I just can't see it.
Agreed. I think at home we'll have much more freedom. Not loads, but like much more than we had last night, which was basically square root of nothing. I think at the home game, I think we'll have a little bit more space to operate in, and Haaland will have a few chances, and he just needs to make sure he buries them. He didn't have anything really. He had one on his left foot, which was very difficult. The angle wasn't favourable, and other than that, I don't really remember anything else that he had to do. Just couldn't get him in the game. I'm going to give him a 6.5.
I'll give him a 6 point. Yeah, I'll do 6.5 as well.
Yeah, that's what the calculator says as well. Pep Guardiola, rating for him, I'm going to give him a good rating, I know people are a bit frustrated that he didn't make no subs, but at the end of the day, he will see that result yesterday as a success. He will see it as a not as a W in terms of the result, but in terms of what the outcome was, you'll see that as a W for the outcome, because a draw yesterday is a great result. So I think he needs to get a good rating. The team pretty much picked itself, other than the Mahrez one, which for me, I did question during the day whether or not you should pick Mahrez. Pick Bernardo, understandable though. I understand him not making any subs. So for me, I'm going to give him a good rating. I'm going to give him an 8.5.
I think it was a Pep masterclass. I think Pep did a really, really good job. He set up a team to go to the hardest venue in world football and not lose, and he did exactly that. A stadium that we've crumbled in before, we did not crumble. We take a very good result back to our stomping ground. The substitute situation people were giving out about, but I see his thinking behind it. I see the method to the madness, which was we didn't look like we were going to bottle it. So don't bring on these subs on the basis that Mahrez and Foden and whoever else will be fully fit, fully fresh, ready for Everton this weekend. Mahrez and Foden should be gunning for Everton on Sunday afternoon on the basis that, first of all, we needed 3 points. Second of all, a big performance from either of them may convince Pep to play them in the Etihad on Wednesday against Real Madrid. So you now have two fully fit and fresh attacking players in Mahrez and Foden that Pep didn't need to use last night because the team was doing just fine. I think from the overall picture, Pep did absolutely perfect. I think it was a genius play from beginning to end from Pep Guardiola. And in the long run, you'll see why. Not now, because we didn't win 5-1 or we didn't win 4-0, but in the long run, I think it'll make sense. I'm going to give him an 8.8.
Big up to John with the member chat, says 13 months, by the way. Thanks a lot for the support, man. So sometimes the occasion of a big away game will cause the team to underperform on the whole just due to the sheer pressure. Home games are different. Absolutely, man. I say next Wednesday, the Etihad will be behind the team. Everyone's going to be buzzing. We're one game away from another final. You beat Real Madrid, you're in the final. Do you know what I mean? Let's just full send it. Let's full send it. We've got a massive game coming up this weekend against Everton. We're going to have to make changes. Phil Foden probably has to come in. Mahrez comes in. Alvarez comes back in. And it could be tricky, you know what I mean? Because we are making those changes. However, we just have to full send it, We have to full send it and hope that we can get a result. If we get the win against Everton, I think we'll win the league, man. Because then out of the final 3 games in the league, you need 2 wins or 1 win and 2 draws. So I just don't see us balls in that one up. If we drop points against Everton, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky, man. If you draw, you've got to win 2 out of your final 3 games, which are tough because you've got 3 pretty tough games. I know Chelsea's a bit of a weird one, but the other 2 games are tough. If you lose against Everton, which is possible, they just put 5 past Brighton. You've got to win your final 3 games, which is going to be tricky. So for me, I just think if we win on Sunday, it's going to give me such a boost because it relieves a little bit of pressure for me for the league because I just don't see us balls in that up then. Yeah, I mean, so it relieves a little bit of pressure, relax the shoulders a little bit. I go into Real Madrid buzzing, hyped about it. We're at home, 1 game away from the final. The Etihad will be rocking. You know what I mean? Everyone in the chat will be buzzing and that. So it's for me, Sunday now is honestly, I think it has the potential to make or break our season, Everton. Now, I really do. And we've had joy over there in years. We've gone to Goodison Park a lot over the years for big title clash games, and we've always come out on top. So hopefully we do again, innit?
Man, cup final vibes, man. It has cup final vibes. It's a real, like, do something here and you've achieved something. I agree with everything you've said. So I'm looking forward to it, man. The players should be really, really up for it. Should be really, really up for it. They should go into it fully expecting a tough game because Everton did a really good job against Brighton. And we'll see where it takes us, man. Massive, massive week ahead. Everton and Real Madrid, both cup final vibes, man. Genuinely.
Yeah, man. Big up Lengen Sweet for the super chat. Says, I want Foden and Maris on Wednesday. Fresh legs and not as tired as Bernardo and Jack. That's if they have a good game on Sunday. Well, if Foden and Maris start on Sunday, which is what I want to see, I want them both to have mint games so then Pep Guardiola has a selection headache against Wednesday. That's what I want. I want Pep Guardiola to have a difficult decision to make on Wednesday. I don't want him to have to pick players because it's easy to pick them. I want him to have a difficult conversation with players. So that's what you need. Well, there you go. That's the player ratings. Referee was poor in the first half, got better in the second half. Done us a solid on apparently the ball going out. So we'll take that. A bit of luck. About time we get a little bit of luck in the Champions League, though, to be honest with you. So I'll take it. Buzzing. Well, there you go. Player ratings done. Absolutely buzzing. Stay tuned tonight. More streams coming on later on in it. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Hit that notification bell so when we go live, you don't miss any of our streams in it. You know what I'm saying? So people always say, oh, I didn't get a notification. If you subscribed, but you don't hit the notification bell, you will always get the notification. If you hit the notification bell, click all, boom, every time we go live, YouTube will ping you a message, man. So click the button in it. Make sure you drop a like on the stream if you've not done so already. Big up to everyone that's super chatted. Big up to Paratosh for the gifted. And guys, we'll catch you in the next one. See you in a bit.